We learned last time that what gets a person to Zahirus is the Dinei Torah and the Torah. But that's Al Derech Klal, he says. But a Befrat, what you specifically have to speak about and think about, Rabbein is going to explain now. Amnam Al Derech Prat, Hamebi Lizeh, who is bonus. Oh, that word again. His bonus is but reflection. Knowing, reflecting on. Not gobbling down information, not just making sure I understand it and moving on as fast as possible, not even just chazering it. Reflecting, his bonus, letting ideas come out to me. Misbona, I think about, I delve into. Misbona, I reflect on. Okay, I emphasize, not learning it fast, not even learning it be'in, not even chazering it. Reflection. His bonus al chomer avoda, asher chayav. How chomer is avoda, va'omek adin ala, and the depth of the judgment on it. You know, I'd love to avoid these lines, friends, but we got to read Mesilas Yesharim, and he's going to talk about this. The Yetzi Loza, so how does a person get around his head chomer avoda? The Yetzi Loza, minayun b'maasim haksuvim b'sifrei HaKodesh, when one learns the ma'asim b'sifrei HaKodesh, u'min alimud b'mamari chacham zechron l'bracha, ha'ma'or malzeh, which wake one's up. There are many, many parts in Tanakh which can wake somebody up to avodas Hashem. Look at what the Navi's been crying. Look at. Someone said to me one time, my God doesn't punish. Yafeh mod. Problem is, it's not God, right? Because God of Chumash, the God, our God, right? Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, does punish. You don't like it? Too bad, right? I'm down for it, but the Rebbeinu Shalom is the one who runs the world, not you or me. And it says in Parashat Bechukosai, and it says in Parashat Kisavo, and it says in Yeshua, and it says in Shoftim, and it says in Shmuel, and it says in Malachim, and it says in Malachim. Read it again and again. There's punishment. Vas canon ton. What can we do, right? So when a person learns those books, he wakes him up, hopefully, right, to that, right? You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to get depressed. You don't have to get down, etc. But we can't ignore the reality. Okay, so let's go on. More on that. There are thoughts, or points of focus, maybe. I don't have a great translation for ha'arot, but something like that, in different levels. This is so important. L'shleimei hadas, to the shleimei hadas, the people of complete daya, people whose heads, we would say in our language, people who really have their heads on, screwed on tight in a Torah-dik way. I would say it another way, as we'll see, they're really down with the first paragraph of Mesilas Yesharim. L'pchusa mehem, those who are on a lower level, l'chol hamon kulo, and to everyone else. And now, for a good part, or even all of the rest of the Perek, we're going to see Mesilas Yesharim is going to go into the haros for the shleimei hadas, for the lesser people, and for the hamonam. I love this. We said last section how we have to learn from Rabbeinu. This is one of the places we have to learn the most from Rabbeinu. I can't talk to today's children. We can't talk to today's Jews. I can't do kiruv. I can't talk to that secular Jew on the plane next to me, even though I'm wasting time anyway, because he speaks a different language. You have to figure out the way if you care about people. I can't explain Yiddishkeit to my family. There's so many problems which exist with Bali Tshuva with their families, which could be avoided in an easy way if the Bali Tshuva would explain to their families what they're doing. Don't make your families into... There are toxic relationships, I'm not saying, obviously. And there are toxic people out there, religious toxic people, unreligious toxic people, toxic, yeah? Lo chaser. But did you ever really try... It's not about being the car of your family, okay? We don't want to get into that. Good. But did you explain to them what you're doing? Why you want to be in why you want a Torah-Dika family? What does it mean to you to have a big family? Why? I can't explain to them. No, maybe you don't have clarity yourself. Get clarity. And now get clarity. And now to think, what do my parents, what do they value? Where can I find a place which my seemingly arcane, crazy, too focused on minutiae lifestyle fit things that can make them understand it, so that they'll feel better about it, and I'll feel better about my relationship with them. So, but I can't. You know, today's children, they've had the iPhone in their hands since they're 2. We can't talk to them. Now, I'm not saying you have to, and I probably wouldn't want to either, have an institution, Baruch Hashem, I'm Zocha to work with higher level people who have an attention span. Okay, but now if there are people you deal with don't have attention span, so figure out how to talk to them if they don't have an attention span. Just like maybe someone thought how to speak to you or me when we weren't who we should be. Let's say someone had said back then, I can't talk to you. Now, I know I'm going off the page a little bit, but I'm not really, because Rabbeinu is spending time in his incredible work, right, where every word was judged. Like Mesilas Yesharim said, every word of the first 11 Prakim is exact. After that, I can't tell you because I don't understand it. But every word that Mesilas Yesharim, the great Gaon and father of the Musar movement, every word he understood Mesilas Yesharim, he knew was exact. Rachel was saying exactly what he said. So he's taking enormous amount of time. I'm just jumping in and taking us through what these people have with them, and that's really the message of Pesach. Keneged Arba Banim Dibrator Baruch Hamag Baruch Hashem. The Torah spoke against Keneged Arba Banim. There's a way you speak to a Tam. There's a way you speak to an Einu Yeshal. There's a way you speak to a Chacham. By the way, I want to say another pet peeve of mine. Sometimes people are only worried about the Tam and the Einu Yeshal, and they don't worry about the Chacham. The kid off the derech gets all the attention. The kid who we call is like a Mitsuyan who's been doing well, he doesn't get any attention. He doesn't deserve resources, right? We only have to take care of the kids who are off the derech. You have to take care of the kids off the derech. You have to take care of the Bainan with the middle class. But Klal Yisrael needs the brilliant minds also. I read sometimes, I'm so hurt. You say the brilliant kids are just sitting in class getting bored and no one's taking care of them. People have to self-school. What about them? Was this how we produce Gedolim? Natural abilities help. Come on, we all know that. But anyway, we have to talk to everybody. Yeah, so that's so easy for me to say, right? But I think really, but I'm happy I spent this time on this thing because I think that's really the message that comes out from here. Rabbeinu was trying to explain how can I have to teach people about the Chomer Avoda. I have to get people more into Zahiris. I have to get people to evaluate their ways. And I realize that there are 3 ways to affect it. I'm going to write for each one. Let's jump in a little bit. What arouses those who have their heads really on tight? Shlemi Hadas, a person of complete minds. Mashid Barer Lehem, the thing that it's clear in that word we had in the Hakdama, Birur, it becomes clear to them, right? And remember we said from a footnote it becomes confirmed by them. Or no, I think Yadame was confirmed. Mashid Bar Lehem, Kiraka Shlemus, only Shlemus, Huadavar Harai, Shiachame Mehem, the only thing that's worth it really desiring in the world, Yichamed, like Chamed, Los Achmon, the only thing I'm really after, the only thing I really care about is Shlemus, is being a complete human being. And there's nothing worse than being far away from them. That's it. If I'm close to Shlemus, it's good. If I'm far from it, it's bad. Why is that so important? What does that have to do with Zeros? Now, that's one thing. They understand, they have this big picture that they understand that what it's about is Ruchnius. What it's about is Ani Kirvasilikim Litov. What it's about is the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what I want to live. Ani Kirvasilikim Litov, being close to Hashem. That's Shlemus. In all my Midas, and all my Maisim, etc. And now, the next step, that's step 1 that they have, that big idea. And they also know, love. How do I get there? There's good actions and good midos. Kas is an unbelievable mechitza between me and Hashem. My taiva is an unbelievable mechitza between me and Hashem. Right? My taiva's achila is an unbelievable mechitza between me and Hashem. My maisim, my lack of chesed, is an unbelievable mechitza between me and Hashem. These are all boundaries and blocks and klippas and walls which are going to stop me from being really connected. I don't want that. That's what he says to himself. And she says to himself. So know what happens? So he's not going to take the easy road. Because they understand if they're down, if they're weak on these things, if these means, we've discussed the idea a lot, but let's see it again. if these means are lessened by them, or they're chalash, I come to davening and I just, get through. My day starts after davening. Who hasn't been there? Without chozek, without chazak, without stark, a little bit of kol, a little bit of sorus, a little bit of simchan davening, right? This davening, listen carefully. This davening is not a davening which is going to produce shleimus, right? Now, it's not important, friends. Listen carefully. It's not important that we understand how davening produces shleimus. That might be helpful, but you don't have to understand how tefillin produces shleimus. I'm not saying that maybe we'll produce more shleimus, but you know that tefillin is part of the picture. And I know there's kavanah in tefillin, and I know there's kasher tzivani Hashem, and I know there's putting on tefillin just because it's a habit that I have since I'm 13, right? And now I know there's something called Avos Hashem, there's something called Yiras Hashem. We know an enormous amount. Do I know the inner kavanahs of tefillin, what it means? No, but that's already tremendous. I know there's a way to do a mitzvah with love. I'm doing this because I love a Kadosh Baruch Hu. I'm doing this because I fear a Kadosh Baruch Hu. I'm doing this because He would commanded me. I'm doing this because, etc. That is enormous, right? And I do it chazak. I do it with my mind and with focus, right? I don't get into any deeper kavanas. There are deeper kavanas. There are many, many kavanas to tefillin, obviously, all different levels. I don't know too much about it, but I know it says in the parashas. I know it's a perspective, right? Okay, let's go one level up. You want to get a little bit more? There's a perspective. Tefillin is the idea of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The idea is of Yetzias Mitzrayim. There, by my eyes and my heart, my head and my heart are close to the ideas of Yetzias Mitzrayim, of Hashgachas Hashem, of Shlitas Hashem. Okay, good. What do you need more than that? And I focus on that. Again, I'm not saying that I do this, but halavai. But that's how I put on tefillin. Bechozek, because it's tefillin. Now here's the point. Because tefillin is going to produce shleimus to me, which is going down. I don't see the whole picture of how it produces it and what it produces, but this tefillin is what's going to make me really, really close to Hashem one day. It's working in this world also, as we discussed, but specifically, it's really working for the next world. And I don't want to. Here's the point. It's not that I'm convincing myself. It's that when my mindset is such that this tefillin is such, I don't want to do it. Now you say to me, well, just do tefillin lighter. Just ease up, Don't get good tefillin. Just be Yotzei Zayin. Like you say, Yotzei Zayin. No, I'm not going to be Yotzei Zayin because I'm a Shleimus Adas. I know He knows what it's about. He knows what it's doing. Right? Eli Yigara Mehem. Kifi Mashigaru Hey B'Shtalusam. Because if I don't, the product is going to be less. Then in some Chaser Shleimus. The idea of being chaser shleimus, I'm going to get to the next world, I'm going to be lacking? Not me. I don't want that. I don't want to be unconditioned. Because they're always thinking, the shleimei adas are always thinking about what it's going to look like in the end. And they have their eye on olam haba, and they have their eye on the idea of clear kirvus abara, and they want this. Okay, it's a big Besima, but that's what it's about. But that again, if we're not there, that's okay. He's going to tell us eitzes for the next level. But the idea is, I want to be zahir. I want to go this process all the time of what am I doing? Am I doing what Hashem's ratzon is? How am I living up? What is Hashem's ratzon? How am I living up to it? How can I get back to that? Right? That's the process of zahiris. And what's a ma'orah me and gets me, but there are kniyas zahiris, is the idea that I want to be shalom. I have to give a tremendous mashal, which it could be we've given before, but it's worth saying again. I think it's so true. Those who, some of you like sports, some of you don't like sports, some of you understand sports, some of you don't like sports. But I have to say like this, that when you imagine like a really high level athlete, an Olympic athlete, or a real top competitor in any sport, they're looking for their edge. The martial, this is true. Swimmers shave their legs, male swimmers, right? Not because they want to look nice, right? They shave their legs. I said this, and a Talmud pointed out to me, they shave their whole bodies. You know why they shave their whole bodies? For an extra 1/100th of a second or 200th of a second. Have you ever swam and felt really held back by, all that skin on your legs? Whoa, what a drag. I feel like I'm going through molasses. No, you don't. You don't feel it at all. You and I don't feel it at all. That's what I have to worry about. I have to worry about being overweight. I have to worry about being tired. I have to worry about moving my arms. The skin on your legs? Come on. but that's an ad. That's an addition. This is maybe going to give me the 200th of a second. And if I drink avocado-oriented, shakes as opposed to coffee, that's going to keep me playing till I'm 38, 39, 40. You know how long athletes have a lot more longevity than they used to have because they understand all these things. And they're doing these steps all the time because they want to stay competitive for winning, for money, right? For a lot of reasons. So and they're always looking for that advantage. No question about it. We all understand that. Business. I know less about the business world, but I'm sure people in business are always looking like, what's my angle? How can I do marketing a little cheaper and a little more bang for my buck? More, can we monetize this, and how can we do it in the most efficient way possible? And they go to efficiency experts. You're always looking for that little step. And I don't want someone saying, well, you could just do it an easy way out. I don't want to do it. I don't want to make my ice cream with less quality because what it's about the ice cream being tasty for people. And eventually, I know that a lower quality product is going to mean less money or less, tikkun abria, whatever your thing is. But the athlete model is, you want to go to an actor or a musician. Musician knows if I use this type of, musicians for sure using the best equipment. The truest sound is with this affordable, or even sometimes not affordable, this violin. So sometimes you can't afford it, but everybody wants a Stradivarius. But this violin makes the best sound. I want to be world level. I want to do it. We all understand those mashalim, and it all makes sense. Believe me, if any of you are in that field, it all makes sense. Getting that extra edge makes so much sense. I'll give you the one more sports mashal, which I always give. Maybe I've given it here, but it's so worthwhile. If you watch a tennis player, I want to explain something to everybody about the world of sports. Okay, you don't know it. There are teams. Teams are like conglomerates. They're making tons of money. There are tons of people involved. There's managers and general managers and coaches and stadiums and that they have and contracts and billions and billions of dollars are going. And now you have your Joe player. Okay, good. Tennis is a guy, and a woman, and he's the whole thing, and he has to pay. That's why people. I saw once the tennis makers make money. Well, it really depends how good you are. But until you're in the top 100, you're not making any money. You know why? Because you have to pay for your travel fares, and you have to pay for your hotels, and no one's paying for you. It's just you, right? At least that was when I checked. But now the highest level players have coaches. Now, when you have a coach, you want the coach being at your game. You pay for the coach, you pay his salary, you pay his travel fees, you pay his hotel fees. Now, if I was coaching for one of the best players in the world, I don't think I would go economy, and I wouldn't stay in a low-level hotel. So I'm sure they're staying in a high-level hotel, and they're probably flying business at least, my assumption. So you're paying an enormous amount. Now, you're better than that guy. That guy was probably someone who was a good player once upon a time, and the best level guys are better than those guys were. But still, he's a coach. He has an objective look. I think that my backhand or my forehand. So you have this guy. He's paying an enormous amount of money. And often they have more than one coach, and they have different advisors and things like that. And it's not a team. It's not that the Knicks are paying for him. He's paying out of his pocket for that. And for that guy to give you that little edge, you have to make your slice, your drop shot is a little too high over the net. We're going to bring it down, like again. I don't know how they coach, but that's the point. It's for that little edge. And the last thing, if the coach comes in and said, look, here's the two possibilities. Your drop shot could be this good or it could be that good, but we're going to have to work on it. Give it to me, coach, because I want to be world class. And we all understand that. That's what they're there. That's what they're there for. to push their people to the highest level so they can play at the highest level, continue to play at the highest level, and they don't want any coolers. Right? So imagine that. I hate to give this example, which is no good to me also, for sure, but how does this compare with we come into shul on a Monday and we're so full of glee that there's a chassan there? And now we don't have to say long tachnan. Do you think long tachnan, do we think long tachnan is not part of the picture? Is not part of shleimus? It's just there in the siddur? There's nothing there? Slow down sometimes. Say it one time. I've slowed down a little bit in my long tachnan. It's meaningful. But you have to slow down. No, it's not part of the picture. Baruch Hashem, there's a chassan there. Now, really, what would a Shalom Shlemi Da say? I say, oh my gosh, no long tachnan today? I was so looking forward to the long tachnan. Now, what happens though? They says, "Oh, the Baruch Hashem, there's a chassan there, which means now I have to be happy with the chassan." And the reason it's a gevaldi, we're walking into here, the matzav of simcha, and then I'm also shaykh to it, right? Because if I wouldn't be shaykh, if I wasn't part of it, I wouldn't be part of it. It's a whole different process. It's like a token, right? The chassan is a token to us. Baruch Hashem, I don't. By the way, you get schar for the Baruch Hashem. But Baruch Hashem, I don't have to say it now. What's the shaykh of the chassan? Who cares? Nothing to do with me. He's just a matir, right? He just exercises the pages from the center. No, he doesn't. There's a svar in why he bothers you. So that's a high level, right? But that's the level of the Oved Hashem Amiti, of the Shlemei Adas, who's looking at Shlemus. And let me just emphasize, and with this will end, no one should think it's only Beinam L'Chaver, Beinam L'Makom. Of course, Beinam L'Chaver also. I have a chance to Mesameach a Yid. I have a chance to make a Yid, and I have to be careful from upsetting someone. Oh boy, am I going to be careful. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want an enemy, a Yiddish enemy. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to say Lashon Hara. I would say Lashon Hara about it. You make him a machlokas with you. What, am I crazy? It's against everything my life stands for. But again, not because you don't like machlokas. That's another thing. Because I'm looking for shleimus, and I know part of the picture of shleimus is making Yidden happy, because they're my family, for all the reasons I know it, etc. So my focus on shleimus makes me be so careful. And I'm always thinking, how can I be better to people? How can I make more people mesameach? How can I? Listen, I'll end with a quick story that my Rebbe Yaakov Friedman told me. He was once in Chutz La'aretz, and he's such an Ohev Eretz Yisrael. He's not so comfortable often in a Chutz La'aretz. He said the time he was comfortable was when he was with the Gaon Reb Shmuel Kamenetsky, Shlita, and he said they were standing outside a wedding, and every single person that came by, Reb Shmuel gave a good word to it. Man, woman, children. He had something for everybody. Your son-in-law, your son, you're this, you're that. I don't know. He has a good word. That's part of that shleimus, right? The shleimus of I can make people yid and happy. That's the shleimus. What an opportunity! Every yid that comes in front of me is an opportunity to make him happy, to reach more of my shleimus by making him feel good.